Good morning for the second time, and welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. We'll see how this unfolds. It did seem like the original opening was working, uh, but I wasn't seeing the video at all, and wasn't sure exactly if anybody could see or hear me. So we're doing this again, and it seems to be working. So as you come on, I will recognize that somebody is listening or not. But nevertheless, we continue as we do every day. Doesn't matter what arises for us to seemingly overcome. I think the message for all of us is what happened to me this morning with the rain and the mountain as I awoke. Julie Soroy is here. Thank you. The mountain and the rain were the first images that I was aware of. I'm here in southwest coast of Maine, and we're having what's called a nor'easter, where the winds come off the ocean and whip around and can create some very violent seas and violent weather patterns. And the message of the nor'easters for me is always to remind me of the power of nature. And that was the message from the rain and the mountain this morning, is that this is where I live. This is home. This is planet Earth. So many of you may live in areas where you experience extreme rains, or you live in high mountain areas. And then others may live in areas which may be very flat and very dry. And so you wouldn't understand this perhaps conversation of rain and mountains, of water and mountains, really. But you do understand, even in dry desert areas, the power of water. And that's what's speaking very loudly today as the wind blows it around in both large raindrops and snowflakes together. So I live in what's called the watershed of Mount Agamenticus. And it's a very small, it's basically a hill. It's not that high, but it's considered a mountain. And the ancestors, the indigenous ancestors, traveled here because of its connection to a greater ancient story. It's also part of a range of volcanoes that came across and still travel across Canada and North America that went out into the ocean. And the next one, I think, in the chain is in the Azores. But this was when the world, the land masses hadn't separated as they have in the age that we live in. They were closer together. This is the power of rain and mountains, is that they have survived millions of years, not just thousands of years, not just hundreds of years or hundreds of generations. They are the oldest living presence of life, really, when you think about it. And that's what they wanted to remind you of, as well as myself, is that we have this grand lineage, if you will, of water and mountains. And they're asking us to pay deeper and closer attention to Mother Earth and to honor Mother Earth and love the elements of water and fire and air, not just as a commodity or an element or something a tool, but to deepen into our own physical beingness and ask, where is the water? What is the mountain? Who am I? What am I? As we evolve, as planet Earth has evolved for millions of years, we're not evolving for that long a period of time, but we are following that pattern. And when we look at Earth and just in our own lifetimes, we see the changes to the structure, changes to the weather patterns, changes to the atmosphere. So too in ourselves, as we have been taken out of the busyness, so to speak, of everyday structure. We're coming to that place in ourselves where we're realigning and questioning our own journey. And it's given us more time to think deeper about where are we headed? What are our future generations going to look like? What will it be for them? And our responsibility to that. That's what the rain and the mountain has spoken to me about this morning. And so I want all of you to just look in your own community, your own area. I mean, I live 1,500 feet from it to the York River. On that mountain, all that water from the mountain flows down into that river, whether on the surface or through underground streams. And it's all in this pattern of flow from the oceans. It rises and drops on the mountain, slides through the land, comes to the river, and flows back. It's a cycle. It's this giant cycle of the movement of water. And so are we, this cycle of the movement of the water. And if we really stop and pay attention, we realize that we're at least, as some say even more, than on a molecular level, 90% water. This physical body that we squeeze and touch, what are you feeling? That's water. That's the water in you. If you've ever been with somebody who is dying or somebody who is dehydrated, you don't get that feel. You don't get that softness, that tenderness, that you don't feel that moisture. And so this is how precious water is for all of us. It's not to be taken granted. It's not to be sold at the highest price for some and demanding others who have no financial ability to suffer and go without. That's where we are. And that's what the mountain has brought forth in me to speak about, is that when we see the water at the high levels, the snow-capped mountains, we see those beautiful pictures. It's reminding us to respect it. That the mountains are the givers of life. And that life descends from the top of the mountains down into the valleys and hopefully across the plains. The mountains want us to respect ourselves, to respect ourselves as mountains of giving, of life bearing, of directors, if you will, of the water we are, so that others have sustainability. It's really simple. It's not, we can exaggerate into all of the ways we could do that, but it's really simple. It comes from the heart. And we might not think mountains have hearts. Yet, if you have the ability to journey in your mind, you can journey into the heart of a mountain. And you can hear its heartbeat. You can feel its pulsing. You can know that what we consider to be sometimes I want you to think differently. It does have a level of consciousness. It does have a level of feeling. Not like ours. Certainly not like ours, because if it was like ours, you would hear the screaming and the pain and the suffering that it actually feels when we distort it and harm it. But we are feeling that. We are feeling that as part of this collective pattern that nothing escapes. The tiniest molecule to the largest human being, to the greatest tree, we don't escape. So what do we do is the question. What do we do? Well, as my dog went out this morning, she got wet. And she knew she was going to get wet, but she had to go to the bathroom, and she doesn't particularly like to get wet. Like us, there's a lot of things we know we have to do, and we're not going to really like it. But we know it's part of the process. Just like the birds at the feeder who are out there in the wind and the rain, and they'll gather at the tops of the trees that don't even have leaves on them yet, and they'll just hang on to those branches in that wind, battered by the rain, battered by the snow, and fly down to the feeder and get some food. And tenacious beings. This is what I want you to tap into. This is what the mountain is telling us. Stand tall. Be tenacious. Know that the rains are going to come. The dry spells are going to come. The storms are going to come. Everything is going to come. But you have a great power within you. A great power to not only see it coming and to protect yourself and others, or to do things to lessen the impact that it has on you. What you really have inside of you is this heart, this beautiful, powerful heart that can offer each other compassion, love, kindness, joy, comfort to each other as you go through this. The mountain says, we just know we stand here and take this because this is who we are. We don't have the capability that you have to feel at that level. Although we do on another level. But you, the two-leggeds, were offered this gift. To be able to see, smell, taste, touch, feel, and love everything around you. And all of us who do not have that ability at your level are asking you, show us again. Show us again what that's really like. Those are words from the mountain, the beings, the spirits, the river, the elementals. In this midst of this stormy weather, as they find their places of shelter, they're gathering together in community to know and help each other move through this momentarily rough time. We're all here going through this rough time. Whether we're human, whether we're trees, whether we're rivers, whether we're mountains, no thing is escaping. So how do we bring it all together? That's what I want you to think about this week, is how do we bring it all together? And the message, they keep telling me, it's not the big things, Charlie. It's not the big things. You keep looking for some big thing. And they want to remind us that it's the little daily things that we do. Every day, simple daily observations, daily habits that make the difference. That changes the relationship to one where it's just another day, to opening the field of enchantment. Now, I use the word enchantment because that's a card I pulled. And it's been sitting on my desk for 3 or 4 days. And I said, well, when am I going to talk about this? Obviously, it's this morning. This is the card for enchantment. And the statement is, the universe is magical. It creates wonderful miracles in my world. And that's what the mountain and the rain is really telling us now, is we want you to become enchanted again. We want you to see and feel the wonder that all of creation has to offer. We want you to come back and be a part of that. Come back into the moment and play with us once again. Knowing that we're alive, just like you are, but not in the same form. So I'm asking everybody that when it rains, think about the water. Think about the water that you are. We're really water beings. We're not human beings. Human beings is a message that we gave to ourselves to separate us. to notice separation. And when we separate, we become incomplete once again. Like the drops of water in the rain. Each one of those is separated. It's a water droplet, but it's separated from all of the other until it hits the lake or the pond or the river or the ocean. On the ocean, the water takes a moment to recognize it, say, oh, you are part of us. We'll let you in. And then the droplet becomes part of the whole. It's magic. It's enchantment. Watch the rain hit the water and watch it, the drops hit the surface and then just disappear. This is what the water is telling us today. Let's let go of the judgment that we have for others. Let us let go of the preconceived ideas that have been impounded into our mind of how we should act or react to certain things. And come back into our hearts. The ocean. Our hearts are like the ocean. And everybody we encounter and every challenge we encounter is a droplet of water hitting that ocean. And what the mountain is saying is receive them. Receive them all. Let go of the judgment. Let go of, oh, I'm going to let you in, but I'm not going to let you in. Know that everybody and everything has an opportunity to create distortion or some kind of non-beneficial action within us, within our hearts. And that hurts. But the more we rise in love within ourselves, rise in love for the water that we are, rise in love for the mountain that we are, rise in love for the Mother Earth that we are, we become whole again. Become one again. Oneness. An exciting word, oneness. And all it does is denote a sense of unity. Unity and coming together. And that's what the water and the earth tell us and teach us about coming together. How do we absorb each other? How do we come into the presence of each other and enrich each other? And we can see what the desert looks like without the rain, because it's Mother Earth, but without the water. And when you look at the ocean, it's all water and no earth on the surface. It's flooded out. Each has its unique purpose. But how much more beneficent is the land that sits above the water level, receives the water, and which becomes fruitful to all species. I know I'm preaching again. And I'm only really conveying what came to me this morning and offering it to you to do what you will with it. Laugh at it, make a joke of it, deny it, react to it, and do something within your own heart. Because it's all about respect. And it's all about deepening our relationship, listening, caring, caring about those little raindrops. Billions and millions of raindrops, much like people, isn't it? Millions and billions of raindrops. Let's care where they fall. Let's care about their relationship with other raindrops. Let's create an atmosphere where they are welcomed as Mother Earth welcomes the raindrops and the snow. And where the mountain looks down upon all of it and says, thank you. You have made my purpose more fruitful. So, for those of you who are in the sidelines, I'm going to take a little break. I'll give you a little break from me, which is probably the most joyous part of this journey every Friday morning. Wayne says, good goes around and around. Yes. Love, blessings. Thank you for your shirt. Oh, this is the Global Heart Team shirt. So the Global Heart, we stand in love. And every Thursday afternoon on the connection field and in the Zoom room, good of the whole and the connection field of that. We offer a meditation and go into meditation and send love around the world. And we're not the only group that does this. There are many, but we're a collective of people who are really sincere about it. Way showers rock my world. Yeah, well, you're each one of us are a way shower, and this is what we have to come back to remembering. That as we listen to others, even the ones who may annoy us, including myself, because I know I annoy people. But it's not about that. The annoyance is really the resistance that we all feel. When we hear something that catches our attention and makes us focus in a different direction than we have. At beginning, it's an interference, and interference becomes, we've been trained that interference is annoyance, and that's how we adapt to it. But if we relax a little, sit back, like on a rainy day, and say, oh, I'm just going to sit here and watch the rain. So if we sit back and watch the interference, there's a message. And the message is directly for you as an individual. Listen. Listen to the rain. Listen to the water. Listen to the wind. They're all teachers. Creative flow, operating the rule of the cosmos, Deepak Chopra. So many wise teachers are all saying the same thing now in their own unique way. Find those teachers in your life and tap into what they have to say. Allow them to guide you to a new pattern of thinking, a pattern of thinking that's more in alignment with the quantum flow. I had about 3 different words come through before quantum flow came in. We're learning now, although we can't understand fully what that means, but we're learning now that each of us play an important part, that we're not insignificant anymore, that we're not a commodity, that we're not slaves, that we're not just wild animals that can be slaughtered in any shape, manner, or form for the benefit of others. Each one of us is a beautiful, living field of energy. I'm going to use the word soul as it was given to me, a source of unconditional love. And all we're being asked to do is to open this heart up, to trust that, yeah, it's going to hurt. Somebody's going to hurt you. Something is going to hurt you. But that hurt is far less damaging than we think it is. And what that hurt will teach us is how to guide that, our love, in different ways and say, oh, I don't send my love there. My love is blocked there. My love is not really needed or wanted there in that small space, but I can send love to the larger space around that small space and encircle that person who's in pain or that person who's in anger with love and put them in a bubble of love without expecting anything in return, just knowing that they're hurting, they're suffering. What our love really is about is like the rain. It's here to nurture. Our love is the rain nurturing Mother Earth. And what does Mother Earth respond with? She gives back. We're not that different. We're not that different. Make magic, yes, magic is afoot. Enchantment, be enchanted and gift others with enchantment. Fairy tale, when we were children, we were told that, oh, you can't talk to the trees and you can't talk to ants and you can't. I'm sorry, I've been doing it my whole life. I actually had to talk to a tree that was being cut down yesterday. I had to bless the tree. I had to offer everything I had from my heart to that tree to allow it to know that it was safe. It was okay. And how much everybody had appreciated it for its lifetime. For me, the death of a tree is not much different than the death of a human being. The blasting of a rock that's bigger than a house, that was part of an ice age that came and landed because somebody wants to build a house on that property. That's a real being to me. That's a real being. There's an intelligence in that. When we pick up our crystals and we carve these beautiful crystals compressed in the earth, there's an intelligence in these. When we carve them into the shape of a skull, we have an ability to communicate with them. When we carve them into particular shapes, like this Vogel crystal, we can actually send energy with them. I'm not telling you stories that aren't real. This is the power that the rain and the mountain are talking about today. Come back, be the alchemists, be the wizards, be the fairies, be those who come back to know their true power and their true strength and honor it in whatever way you feel called to do it. And know that there is no real right way or wrong way. You can either do it or not. But right now, everybody is being called to do it and put their love into it. Even if you don't feel loved, what is the love you want to feel? Send that. Send that vision of the love that you want to feel out to others. And in that moment, boom, the connection will be made. And it'll come back to you. And you may not be right in that moment, but you'll start to feel it in yourself. This is the reciprocity. What we give, we receive. The more we align ourselves with the wave of creation, we leave behind the wake of destruction. So all of you, being present. Yes, it's about being present on an ocean of love, enchantment. All of these things that are coming through me are things you've already said to yourself. You've already probably had this conversation 10,000 times with yourself. I'm not a guru. I'm just you. I'm just you who has this opportunity to get up here and speak, to remind you of who you are, of the potential and the power that you really have, especially in these times where people have become very scattered and insecure and unstable and hungry and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And each one of us, as we share this love that we know we are, we create a change, a wave of change. And we really end up starting to feel powerful again. And not powerful like overpowering, but powerful in the sense that I have the ability that everybody told me I don't have. I'm listening to the rain. The rain has every possibility to be a tree, a rock, a beach. It's going to be part of something, every raindrop. So too are you. And that's what the mountain wants me to tell you, is that you're all raindrops. And she loves you. She awaits for you every day because she knows that without you, she can't be who she is. So with that, I just want to thank you all for joining me on these Friday mornings, and whenever you catch up, wherever you are around the world. I appreciate, your comments in the sidelines, and I read them all. I don't respond to all of them, but I send my love to each and every one of them. And those of, who write things that are sort of controversial and, sort of contradictive to the theme of what's being said, I will delete those. And I delete them not with any animosity. It's just that they're it's like going through the woods and you get, the pickers in your shirt. Well, that's all it is. They're not useful here. So thank you all for your respect. Thank you all for your love. And I'll read this card from Mia's soul inspiration message cards, and I'm not pushing these on anybody. It's just I've known her as a poet for years, and we've had many conversations. But this card reads, another day begins as the sun rises, bringing within new surprises. Breathe in and behold. Just watch it unfold. There is a new whole story to be told. My blessings and wishes for you is to be part of that new story. Right here, right now, in this moment, each one of us can make that choice to be part of the new story. And we'll write this story together. One change of heart at a time. And don't start with the big ones first. Start with the easy ones. Build up a running practice of success, and it will unfold quicker. As I know all of us have that big heart problem that we'd like to resolve, and it will. Once we come to understand that we truly have the power to resolve it. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. We are unity. One heart, one love, one rainy day, one mountain. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And bless you, bless you, bless you. And yeah, let's all just keep looking forward and knowing that the future will be unlike anything we've ever really imagined. Because when we all open our hearts and work together to create that, it will create itself in that moment. We can't project what it will be. We'll have come back to living in the moment. Bless you all. We'll see you next Friday. Thank you for your patience, your kindness, and your love to the world. It's all what we need to do. We'll see you next Friday, and hope everybody is well in this process. And I send you my love.